Shalom. Welcome to the Rock, Sister Ebony,
Sister T.
Sister Lydia.
and thank you for joining us today. Today we are harvesting one of our gardens. This is our smorgasbord garden. It has pretty much variations of seeds. Um, all of these greens. This garden bed right here has not been planted by us yet. So all what you see is what has came stayed over the winter time, and we've eaten from these over the winter and over the spring as they grew. And now, as you see, a lot of it went to seed, and we are cutting those down and going to clean them and blanch them and store them. So we're starting the blanching process early this year and see how that does for us to make sure that we are not having any of our greens or any of the things that we're growing um, to sustain us that are going to waste. So we're starting the blanching process early and getting a head start. And actually, our freezer is pretty much packed right now. So we're going to have to speak to our master about that. We may have to get another freezer in order for us to store all of the food that we are harvesting from our gardens. But as you can see, this big old pile of greens right here that we've harvested, there's another wagon full. But we're going to be processing those and blanching those. But our master wanted us to cut those down so he can replant for this year in this. But this is our smorgasbord of greens. We had some watermelons grow here last year. I don't know. They might start popping up as the summer approaches us. But we had Swiss chard, collards, lettuce. We had some different type of herbs that we discovered in our gardens that we are transplanting into tires. We're growing some things in tires, some different herbs and stuff that we want to start growing and keeping and using for our health. So we just wanted to show you that, and we just wanted to correlate investing. Our master has been speaking a lot on investing recently, on a husband investing into his wife, and how a wife is an investment, and she is supposed to be giving back a return. And also, we just wanted to correlate different types of investment. The parents or the mother, who is the main, well, not main person, but the person that is teaching their children. One of the direct people that teaches their children, being that they homeschool and are the nurturers. They teach their children and they invest in their children. And expect that their teaching brings forth fruit and a return, that their children will retain the information that they are given, and that they will be a good investment. Well, the wives will be a good investment for their husbands, but their sons will learn how to invest. Does anyone else want to speak on that? Investments.
So, as Sister Ebony said, investments come in many different forms. It's not just investing into the stock market or something like that. And as she has panned over for you to see all the mustards that we have harvested today and plan to put away, blanch and put away, that for us is a investment so that we do not lack. We are prepared. We're not, bellies aren't growling and we're like, oh, well, dang, we're hungry. Wish,
Yeah,
wish
some
I had
some of
something.
these are mustards, but some of them are different types of greens that our master is like, I'm not sure which greens that we planted here.
Oh, well, the
Then we have my,
smorgasbord, as she
yeah,
called it, actually. And we're not complaining. Like, oh, wow, I'm hungry. And we don't complain when we do the work to get this food prepared, put away for, in a sense, a rainy day. And it might not even just be a rainy day, but the fact is when we invest, sometimes it's not just a easy thing. Sometimes, oftentimes, especially with our master, investment calls for work. Plain and simple. We don't get to grow all these things and sit down and just wait for them to chop themselves and blanch themselves and jump into the freezer themselves. Investment means there is going to be some work involved. Just like your husband invests in a wife, he doesn't sit around and just hope she understands whatever's going on in his mind or break down the word. She'll break it down herself, and that's his way of investing and nurturing. He has to do some sort of work to be able to invest in his family, invest in his wives.
Yes. I said investment comes in many forms, and the purpose is you make an investment to get a return. That's the key. Anything you do, stop it. Anything you do, when you're making an investment, you're looking for the return. And the return will let you know whether that was a good investment or a bad investment. So, more recently, you've been hearing us speak on investments because that's what we're learning a lot of right now. It's about how to invest and the difference between a good investment and a bad investment. We've been examining ourselves to see if we ourselves are good investments or bad investments. And so every time we work in the garden or we plant seeds and we see the fruit of what come up from the seeds, we get to determine whether it was a good investment or a bad investment. And identify the problem if there's something wrong with the fruit that was given. Then you get to now examine and see, where was the problem, what area needs to be fixed so you can make better choices or better investments or get the return you wanted. So this is just an example. This is something we were talking about today. As we were working together, cutting these greens down and getting ready to blanch them, just how we could see it visually with our eyes what an investment looked like. Because a lot of times we'll hear terms, but we don't even know what it looks like. What does that mean? What does it look like to get a return? Or what does it look like to invest in something and get good fruit? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need a visual. It's almost like with training a child or training an adult. Adults need training too sometimes because they didn't get the training. And sometimes you could tell them a lot of words, do this and do that, but they don't necessarily know what that looks like. And that was the point of us having parents who were supposed to raise us up so we can see the example. They were supposed to be our example of what it looks like when a man invests in us to be our husband. The parents, if they were doing right, they can be an example of what that looks like. What it looks like for daddy to invest in mommy. And what kind of return did mommy give daddy? So we're learning a lot when it comes to investments.
Yes. Also with investments, we want to make sure, being wives, speaking from a wife's perspective, we want to make sure that we are able to be invested in. We are good soil. If our soil is not good, if there's something in our soil, or even, bad seeds that were planted from before that may not allow the good seeds to come up or hinder the good seeds when they do come up. We want to make sure that we're good soil, getting anything and preparing our soil to receive those seeds, receive the investments that our master wants to put in us or puts in us. Those words, you know, moving on His word, receiving His word, allowing His word to penetrate us and to program us to what His program. We just want to make sure that we are that good soil and that we bring forth, much fruit and give Him a good return. And not have to be a replaced tent peg, so to speak. So we hope that you enjoyed this video. Look at all these greens that we have to process here. It's exciting, the life that Yah has blessed us with, and also, the life that Yah has blessed us with is allowing us to learn in functionality, what the Word is saying, what our Master is teaching us. And that is a blessing, that we can get, more understanding and be able to see and learn by living on our land, and by our Master is learning a lot just from, being on his homestead and the different things that he does, husbandry. He learns a lot, and he is able to teach us and able to give us better understanding based on his understanding that he's getting from the Father just by everything that he's doing on his homestead and being a husbandman. So we hope you have a wonderful, productive day, wonderful rest of the week, and we bid you all shalom.
Shalom.